Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Ma'am, can you please tell me when your midterm will be held? The date?
I don't know. I am not confirmed about your midterm exam. Okay. Probably your seer informed me. Then it will be 18th November. So today I will talk to your seer, and after that I will inform you.
Okay, ma'am.
So hello everyone. I hope that all of you are staying at home safely. And can you see the board clearly and hear me properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Is there any problem related to your syllabus for midterm exam? Someone commented on my syllabus in the Google Classroom that it becomes too large. Is it same for all of the students? Do you think that?
Yes, ma'am. Why
Ma'am,
best result?
ma'am,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It is
Yeah.
so.
is the midterm combined, the two of you?
Sorry, please repeat your answer again.
The two of you, session A and B, will it be
Yes.
combined or you will give your own separate?
Actually, we will take the exam togetherly, not separate, but your section will be separate. From section A, you will get a separate part, and from section B, you will get another separate part. But we will give the question combinedly, and we will also take the exam combinedly. Okay. In the same time, we will take your exam combinedly for both section A and section B. That means you will get one question from both section. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So our previous syllabus is Fourier series. Fourier integral. If you want to reduce your syllabus, then I will remove this part, Fourier series. In that case, you will get two questions from Fourier integral and solving boundary value problem, and you have to answer two questions, okay? If you remove this topic, then you have to answer two questions from this one and this one. And if you include these three topics, then you will get one extra question. So what is preferable? What do you want? If I give two topic for your exam, then I will not give any extra question in your exam. But if you take these three, then I will give one extra question in your exam. If you take these three topics, then you have to answer two among three. But if you remove one and take two topics for your exam, then I will give two questions and you have to answer two questions. Now it's your choice. What do you want?
ম্যাম তাহলে তিনটাই থাক।
I know that. Is it the answer for all of the students? If
All the answer, ma'am.
all are yes, okay, then I have no problem. Okay. Is the seer present?
Ma'am?
Is the seer, your class representative is present? Seer?
Ma'am, what was the answer? What did the speaker say?
I see.
The speaker said what they said in Bangla. So what did he say?
You didn't know Bengali?
No, ma'am.
No.
No,
Not
ma'am.
even a single word.
I don't know what he said.
Oh, I see. He said that here I included three topics and
Yes,
I
ma'am.
give you one opportunity. If you choose three topics, then I will give
Yeah.
three questions and you have to answer two questions. And on the other hand, if you choose 2 topics, then I will give you 2 questions and you have to answer 2 questions. And
Yes, ma'am.
they said that, or he said that they want 3 topics. Okay. And I will
Okay.
give 3 questions and you have to answer 2 questions. That means in your exam, you will get 1 extra question if you take these 3 topics. Is it clear?
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Is Seer present? Seer, Azad, are you present? I think he's not present. Do you know the exact date of your exam? Your Seer informed me it will be 17th November, but I'm not sure still because I didn't get any documents or any email from your department. So at first I will confirm, and after that I will inform you about the date in the Google Classroom, okay?
Ma'am, it is on
Okay, ma'am.
17th November.
17th. But still I don't get any mail or documents. That's why I don't know about the time. After informing me, I must inform you through the Google Classroom about the schedule, that means date, time, okay? So now we will go for our today's lecture, and today we will learn about evaluation of integrals. Basically, for evaluation of integrals, today I will try to solve 2 problems, or I try to prove 2 problems. And here you need both Laplace transformation and inverse Laplace transformation. What is this? Today our topic is evaluation of integrals, and in this topic I will discuss, or I will prove 2 problems. And here you have to use both Laplace transformation and inverse Laplace transformation. That means our today's class is a combination of Laplace transformation and inverse Laplace transformation. Since you have the basic idea or some idea about how to solve numerical example both for Laplace transformation and inverse Laplace transformation. And today we will see the combined applications of Laplace and inverse Laplace transformation. Okay, so this is our first proof. That means you have to prove that the improper integrals of e to the power minus x squared dx is equals to root over pi by 2 by using Laplace transformation. This can be also proved by using beta functions. It's a property of gamma functions. Okay, it's a property of gamma function, and we can also prove this in another way. But here it is mentioned that you have to prove these properties of gamma function by use Laplace transformation. So here you have to use Laplace transformation. Okay, but if in your exam it is not given that proof this is equals to this, and here it is not included by use of Laplace transformation, then you can prove this in another way. But when it is mentioned that use Laplace transformation, then you have to follow these rules. Okay, I'm repeating again. Here I will prove this one, and this procedure is not the only one procedure. You can prove this in another way. But when it is informed that by use of Laplace transformation, then this procedure is must. Okay. So at first, to prove this, we'll consider that it's a function we'll try to take a function which included this improper integral, but that will be a function of z of t. And since we are considering that this is a function of z of t, then that function must contain a variable t. Okay, so we will modify this equation or this function. It is e to the power minus x squared dx, and we will write down at e to the power minus tx squared into dx. According to our given function, e to the power minus x squared dx, I want to modify it in a function of variable t and named it as dt. So zt is equals to integration 0 to infinity e to the power minus tx square dx. See? But here it is e to the power minus x square. Since we are taking that it's a function of variable t, that means zt, so you have to contain a variable t on the right side. That's why I'm considering e to the power minus tx square dx, and it will help us to complete this proof. Okay. So now we'll find by using the definition of Laplace transform. Yes,
minus theta আসলে কিভাবে ম্যাম আরেকবার ম্যাম
it is x square, right? Here it is your given problem that you have to prove this is equals to root over pi by 2, and you have to use Laplace transformation. And for using Laplace transformation, you need a function f of t or z of t, right? You need a function f of t. Here in the place of f of t, we are considering that a function is z of t. But here it is a function of x. It's a function of x. So to express this function in a function of t, we are considering e to the power minus tx square dx. Because when you are considering that zt, on the right side, your function will be must contain a variable that is t. Okay, it's our consideration. From our given function, it's our consideration. Is it clear? Suppose
Yes,
here
ma'am.
you have to prove that 0 to infinity cos x square dx is equals to something like this. So in that case, we will consider z is equals to cos t x square dx. That means we will replace x square by t x square. Okay, we will replace x square by t x square. Okay, so this is our ct. Now we'll find the Laplace transformation. By the definition, by the definition of Laplace transformation. So now we need the definition of Laplace transformation. So Laplace transformation of z of t. Laplace transformation of z of t is equals to what? You know that the Laplace transformation of a function is integration 0 to infinity e to the power minus st, and that function, here the function is z of t. So z of t into dt. So by finding or by using the definition of Laplace transformation, we have found the Laplace transformation of z of t, and it is equal to integration 0 to infinity e to the power minus st zt dt. That's the definition of Laplace transformation. Now we will put the values for z of t, which is this. Now we will put the values of z of t, which is the 0 to infinity e to the power minus tx square dx. So use the value of zt. Use the values for zt, that is Laplace transformation of z of t on the left side, and on the right side it is 0 to infinity e to the power minus st. And what is the values for zt? Your zt is integration 0 to infinity e to the power minus tx square into dx. This is your zt into dt. Okay, that's the result for zt. Now from here, let's consider 0 to infinity. Here e to the power minus st, and it is e to the power minus tx square. It is e to the power minus tx square. So we will write down at e to the power st into e to the power minus tx square into dt. Okay, I'm considering this integration 0 to infinity e to the power minus st e to the power minus x square into dt. So our rest of part is, there is another 0 to infinity integration with respect to dx. Is it clear? How can we write down the last line from the previous one? Here I just take that the term of or the function of t togetherly, and after that there is a rest of integration 0 to infinity with respect to dx. Is it clear? Is it clear? How can I write down this last line from the previous one? Here I just take that here it is e to the power minus, here this is the value for z of t, right? We have considered z is equals to this. This is the value
Yes,
for z
ma'am.
of t. And here we are considering the function e to the power minus st e to the power minus tx square. This is a function of t. This is a function of t. So I am taking this, the function of t togetherly, e to the power minus st e to the power minus tx square into dt is here. and one integration. Here you can see that there are two improper integrations, 0 to infinity, 0 to infinity. So I'm taking that 0 to infinity, this is a function of t with respect to dt. Then there is another integration, right? Here there is another integration, 0 to infinity. So I take this 0 to infinity and there is dx. I take this dx. And now is it clear? I just rewrite this equation, nothing else. I just rewrite this equation. So from here, you can see that here this improper integral 0 to infinity. Now here it is 0 to infinity e to the power minus st. I am considering that this is f of t dt. What is this? E to the power minus st. This is a function. Consider that this is dt or f of t. I am considering that this is f of t. So consider the portion which is included in the third bracket, 0 to infinity e to the power minus st, f of t dt. Is this the definition of Laplace transformation? 0 to infinity e to the power minus st. This is a function into dt. Is this the definition of Laplace transformation? Suppose f of t is a function e to the power minus tx squared.
जी मैम और Laplace transformation yes.
That is the definition of Laplace transformation of the function e to the power minus tx squared. So we can write down this as, this is the Laplace transformation of e to the power minus tx squared. Okay. In this place, we can write down this is the Laplace transformation of the function e to the power minus tx squared. And here the integration 0 to infinity into dx. Okay. Now you have to find the result for Laplace transformation of e to the power minus tx squared. Here we are finding that Laplace transformation of e to the power minus tx squared, and consider here x squared as constant. Basically, you know the formula for Laplace transformation of e to the power minus tx, ta, right? Or at. You know the formula for finding the Laplace transformation of e to the power minus ta. And there is a direct formula for finding Laplace transformation of e to the power minus ta, that is what? 1 by s plus a. Okay. So here consider x squared as constant. Here a is constant, and in this function we will consider that x squared is constant. Then what will be the Laplace transformation of this? I'm repeating again that you know that there is a general formula for Laplace transformation of e to the power minus at, that is 1 by s plus a, and here a is constant. A is constant and t is variable. Your variable is t. So what will be the Laplace transformation e to the power minus tx squared, where t is variable and x squared is constant? When a is constant, t is variable, then Laplace transformation of e to the power minus at 1 by s plus a. But for Laplace transformation of e to the power minus tx squared, here t is variable, x squared is constant, then what will be the result for Laplace transformation of e to the power minus tx squared? Please compare this one with this. It will
s is square.
s plus x squared, right? Here your a is written.
Okay.
Is considered as constant.
Yes, s is square.
Here it is e to the power minus t here, and t is variable. That means here your x squared will be constant. So the formula is basically 1 by s plus constant. Here a is constant. So here a x squared is constant. So it will be 1 by s plus constant, that is x squared. Okay. So the Laplace transformation of this part will be 1 by s plus x squared. So the Laplace transformation of this will be 1 by s plus x squared into dx. Now you have to complete this improper integration. What is this? 0 to infinity. It is 1 by s squared plus x squared, and 1 by s can be written as 1 by x squared plus root over s whole square. Is it possible to write down? Here it is 1 by x squared plus s. I just write down 1 by x squared plus root over s whole square. Okay. And root over s whole square is equals to s. Now, can anyone say what is the integration of this? There is the direct formula of integration, 1 by x squared plus a squared into dx. and it is probably 1 by a tan inverse x by a. 1 by a tan inverse x by a. That's the formula for finding the integration of 1 by x square plus a square into dx. I think all of you know this formula, right? You have learned this formula in your HSC section. The integration of 1 by x square plus a square is equals to 1 by a tan inverse x by a. So I just use this formula here. Here we are integrating with respect to dx, that means with respect to variable x. So it will be 1 root over s will be a here, right? You know 1 by x square plus a square integration with respect to dx is equals to 1 by a tan inverse x by a. And here in this improper integral, our variable is x and a will be considered with root over s. Okay, a will be considered with root over s. So the formula will be 1 by a, that means 1 by root over s into tan inverse x by a. X by a here is considered as root over s. Is it clear? Is there any problem to understand this? Now use the upper and lower limit. So what will be the upper limit? 1 by infinity, and lower limit is 0. So from here we write down 1 by root over s tan inverse infinity by root over s, and here s is a constant. So here it will be tan inverse infinity minus 1 by root over s, and it is 0. It will be tan inverse 0. So what is the values for tan inverse infinity? Do you know what is the result for tan inverse infinity?
Pi by 2.
Yes, it's pi by 2. That means 90 degree, because we know that tan 90 degrees equals to infinity. That's why tan inverse infinity will be pi by 2. And for tan inverse 0, probably it is 0. The values for tan 0 is equals to 0. So tan inverse 0 will also be 0. It will be 1 by root over s into 0. You can also use your calculator for this, but you cannot evaluate this by using your calculator. So here it will be 0, pi by 2 root over s. Minus 0, that means pi divided by 2 root over s. Okay, so we have found that in our left side, it is the Laplace transformation of z of t is equals to pi by 2 root over s. Okay, on the left side, the term is Laplace transformation of z of t, and after calculation, we obtain that Laplace transformation of z of t is equals to pi by 2 root over s. Now from here, we will find the inverse Laplace transformation of z of t. Okay, we will find the inverse Laplace transformation. So take the inverse Laplace transformation. We have found that Laplace transformation of z of t is equals to this. So from here, z of t will be inverse Laplace transformation of this. That means take the Laplace transformation from left to right, then it will be inverse Laplace transformation. It is Laplace transformation of z of t is equals to this. Now take this Laplace transformation to the right side. So it can be written as z of t is equals to inverse Laplace transformation of pi by 2 root over s. Is it clear? So students, do you have any problem to see this, or up to this part, is there any problem to understand? Anyone, any problem to understand up to this part?
No, ma'am.
So in the next line, you have to just find the inverse Laplace transformation of pi by 2 root over s. So here it can be rewritten as pi by 2, and it's a constant term into inverse Laplace transformation of 1 by root over s, and root over s means s to the power half. And here it can be written as pi by 2 inverse Laplace transformation of 1 by s to the power half can be written as minus half plus 1, right? S to the power half can be written as minus half plus 1, and minus half plus 1 means positive half. And the reason for write down half is equals to minus half plus 1 is that you know that inverse Laplace transformation 1 by s to the power n plus 1 is equals to t to the power n into gamma n plus 1. I just want to use this formula. That's why I rewrite the term s to the power half as s to the power n plus 1, where n is equals to minus half. Is it clear why we write down this line from the previous one? Because I want to use this formula inverse Laplace transformation of 1 by s to the power n plus 1 is equals to t to the power n by gamma n plus 1. I just want to use this formula here for finding the inverse Laplace transformation of these. So if I want to use this formula, you have to rewrite your term this as s to the power n minus n plus 1. And here n is minus half. And the result will be t to the power n by gamma n plus 1. Okay. So here n is minus half. Write down this as pi by 2 into t to the power n, and here n is s to the power n plus 1. That means n is minus half. T to the power minus half divided by gamma n plus 1. Gamma n is this and plus 1 is equals to this. So from here it will be pi by 2 t to the power minus half and gamma minus half plus 1. That means positive half. And you know that there is a property of gamma function, that is, do you know what is the value for gamma half? Anyone? It's a property of gamma root over pi. So it will be t to the power minus half divided by root over pi. And here there is a pi term, there is a root over pi. So it will be root over pi by 2 into t to the power minus half. So we have found that it's root over pi by 2 into t to the power minus half. It is something like this, half into root over pi into 1 by root over t, which can be written as 1 by 2 into root over pi by t. Okay. So the final result is 1 by 2. That means half into root over pi by t. But our required proof is not this. Our question is proof that 0 to infinity e to the power minus x squared dx is equals to root over pi by 2. This is your proof, or this is our question. So from here we have to go there. This is half root over pi by 2, and on the left side it is zt. On the left side it is zt. So we have found that zt is equals to half root over pi by t, and from here you have to go there. So we have found that zt is equals to half of root over pi by t. Zt is equals to, hence zt is equals to half root over pi by t. Now what is zt? We have considered that zt is equals to 0 to infinity e to the power minus tx square into dx is equals to half root over pi by t. But from here you have to go there. If you make a comparison, then it is 0 to infinity e to the power minus x square, by it is e to the power minus tx square. So from here you have to go there by taking a values of t. If I consider t is equals to 1, then this left side and this left side will be equal, right? If you consider t is equals to 1, then this left side and this left side, that means our required proof will be equal. So here we will put t is equals to 1. So let's consider, let's put t is equals to 1. So it will be 0 to infinity e to the power minus 1 into x square. That means minus x square into dx is equals to half root over pi divided by 1. That means half into root over pi, which is equals to root over pi by 2. Now let's see, is it our required proof 0 to infinity e to the power minus x square dx is equals to root over pi by 2, which is similar to this, and this is our required proof. So we can say that we have completed our proof. 0 to infinity e to the power minus x square dx is equals to root over pi by 2. So in this way, we can evaluate integrals by using Laplace transformation and inverse Laplace transformation. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we'll go for another one. X squared dx is equals to root over pi by 2. Okay. So our second problem is, I just give hints for this problem, and the detailed solution is given in your class materials. Okay. Since we don't have enough time, so I will just give hints, and it's a quite lengthy math. The detailed solution or the calculation is given in your class materials, which has been already uploaded in Google Classroom. Okay, so prove that 0 to infinity cos x squared dx is equals to half half root over pi by 2 by using Laplace transformation. Okay, you have to prove it by using Laplace transformation. So at first you have to consider this problem is as similar as our first one. Okay, this problem is as similar as our first one, and there is a difference in the calculation of integration, but all the procedure are same. Here we will consider, I just give the hints, not solution. The solution is given in your class material. Here I just give the hints, how can you solve this. So in a similar way, you have to consider zt, and you have to consider zt which is similar to these with including variable t. So it will be 0 to infinity. It is cos x square. So I write down that cos t x square into what? Zt. So it will be what? Can anyone say, is it dx or dx? So now we will take the Laplace transformation of zt. Okay, take the Laplace transformation. Take Laplace transformation of zt. So use the formula. It will be Laplace transformation of zt. So what is the formula for Laplace transformation of a function? It is integration 0 to infinity e to the power minus st z of t and dt. Z of t and dt. So now put the values for zt, that is 0 to infinity e to the power minus st. Zt is equals to 0 to infinity it cos tx square into dx into dt. So now I will take cos tx square e to the power minus st dt togetherly. Okay. Take the function of t togetherly, and it will be 0 to infinity e to the power minus st, and cos tx square also a function of t, so it will be cos tx square into dt. Now the rest of part is one improper integral from 0 to infinity and dx. These are the rest of parts. So I just write down it as 0 to infinity into dx. Okay. Now in a similar way, this is the Laplace transformation of a function, that is cos tx square. The portion which is included in the third bracket, the portion which is included from here to here, is similar as the definition of Laplace transformation of a function cos t x square. So I can write down 0 to infinity, this is from here, and for this it will be Laplace transformation of cos tx square, cos tx square into dx, into dx. Now you need the formula for Laplace transformation of cos at. Here a is considered as x square. Okay, here a is considered as x square. So what will be the formula for Laplace transformation of cos at? You know that what is the formula for Laplace transformation of cos at? It is s by s square plus a square. And here a is x square. So it will be s by s square plus a square, and here a is x square. So it will be x square whole square into dx. Okay. Now you have to complete this integration. Now you have to complete this integration is by s square plus x to the power 4 into dx. Okay. Just complete this integration, and after completing this integration, the result will be here the complete integration.
half ln s square plus x to the power 4.
Half ln
S square plus x to the power 4.
is it? Okay, now you have to use your upper and lower limit.
Ma'am, who is it?
Here basically you have to, you need the calculation in terms of your gamma and beta function, because in your proof on the right side it is root over pi. Okay, so here your formula is okay, that yeah, I think you were using the formula f prime x by f of x is equals to ln f of x, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You're using that formula, but here since it's a proof, it's not a numerical maths only or not a problem only, here it's a proof, and in this proof on the right side there is the term root over pi, so you have to derive root over pi. And for integration, you can derive root over pi by using only the properties of gamma function. And for this reason, you need beta or gamma function to express this improper integration. Is it clear? So
Okay,
for
ma'am.
that sense, I will not use this formula because it will not be helpful for us, because on the right side there is a term root over pi, and for obtaining root over pi, we need gamma or beta function which is related to each other. Okay, so I just try to
Yes,
solve
ma'am.
this improper integral by using the properties of gamma and beta function. So here you have to complete this integration, and let's consider x square is equals to s tan theta, and for x it will be root over s into root over tan theta. Okay, so for the term s square plus x to the power 4, it will be s square plus, and for this term it will be s square plus tan square theta. Take a common of s square, it will be 1 plus tan square theta, and you know that the formula sec square theta minus tan square theta is equals to 1, so this term will be equal to sec square theta, so it will be sec square theta. Okay, so we have found that the term for s square plus x to the power 4 is equals to this, and you need dx. Here it is your x, so from here you need dx. Dx will be root over s into, here it is root over tan theta, and we are finding dx by d theta. So for this, you have to compare, or you have to use the formula root over x, that is 1 by 2 root over x. 1 by 2 root over x, and here we have considered tan theta as x. So you have to differentiate tan theta again. What is this? Consider root over tan theta as root over x, and the formula of differentiation for root over x, 1 by 2 root over x. And here we have considered x is equals to tan theta. So you have to differentiate this tan theta again, and the differentiation of tan theta is equals to sec square theta, okay, into d theta. So in the place of dx, you have to use this result. Now you have to change the limit. Now you have to change the limit. When x is equals to, here the upper and lower limit for this improper integral is from 0 to infinity. So by using this relation, this one or this one, when x is equals to 0, then the values for theta will be 0. Now use this relation when x is equals to what? X is equals to infinity, or x, when your x tends to infinity, then your theta will be pi by 2. Here use this relation between x and theta. If you use x is equals to 0, then your theta will be 0, and if you use x tends to infinity, that means theta will be tan inverse infinity, and you know that tan inverse infinity is equals to what? Pi by 2. So for infinity it will be pi by 2. So we have found that the upper and lower limit is from 0 to pi by 2. Now complete this improper integration. Here it is. You have to just use these informations. Our improper integral 0 to infinity is divided by s square plus x to the power 4 dx. So from here it will be 0 to pi by 2. Just put the values for s and s square plus x to the power 4. Okay, put the values of them. It is, and for s square plus x to the power 4, we have found that it is equal to s square sec square theta. Now put the values for dx. We have found the values for dx is equals to s 1 by 2 root over tan theta into sec square theta into d theta. Here this and this will cancel each other. It will be cancelled by s, right? So 0 to pi by 2. Here it is root over s, it is only s. So we can write down as by root over s, right? Here it is s, it is root over s. So it will be 1 by, and there is 2 root over s. This term 2 and by s can be written combinedly as 1 by 2 root over s, and here it is 1 by root over tan theta into d theta. Okay, so we know that tan theta is equals to what? Tan theta is equals to sin theta by cos theta. You know that tan theta is equals to what? Tan theta is equals to sin theta by cos theta, and it is root over. So it will be root over cos theta divided by root over sin theta, right? Since it is 1 by tan theta, so the term will be root over cos theta by root over sin theta.
ম্যাম sec theta কোথায় গেল ম্যাম? Second line
So
থেকে
there is a sec square theta, and for dx, we also obtain there is a sec square theta, and this sec square theta and this sec square theta will cancel each other. Okay, And here it is s square, it is s. So by cancelling 1s, we get only 1s. And here there is a root over s. So cancelling them, we get root over s. Here this is 2 and 1 by root over tan theta d theta. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So from here, we may write down it as 2 by 2 root over s, 0 to pi by 2. And it can be written as sine to the power minus half theta, right? And sorry, minus half theta and cos to the power plus half theta. Since it is root over cos, so root over cos theta can be written as cos to the power half theta. And here it is 1 by root over sine theta. That means 1 by sine half theta. And it can be written as sine to the power minus half theta. Okay. Now I will try to write down this minus half and plus half as n minus 1. I want to write down this as n minus 1. So if I want to write down minus half as n minus 1, then it will be half minus 1, right? If I want to write down it as n minus 1, then it will be sine theta half minus 1 in, sorry, sine half minus 1 into theta. Okay. It's the power. Half minus 1 is equals to minus half into cos half theta. So cos half theta can be written as 3 by 2 minus 1 is equals to what? 3 by 2 minus 1 is equals to positive half. Okay. So for positive half, we can write down this. Now I want to write down it as sine to the power 2m minus 1 theta into cos to the power 2n minus 1 theta, because there is a formula or there is a property which is related to sine to the power 2m minus 1 theta and cos to the power 2n minus theta. So I will try to write down it in this form. Okay, 2m minus 1 and 2n minus 1. So 1 by 2 root over s, 0 to pi by 2. Here it can be written as sine to the power 2m minus 1. So here 1 by half can be written as 2 1 by 4 minus 1. Is these are similar? 2?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, these are similar. So I think it is comparable to sine to the power 2m minus 1. And for this, it will be cos probably 2 into 3 by 4 minus 1. Yes, it is also can be written as 2 into n minus 1 theta d theta. Okay. Now you have to use a property of beta function. What is this? You have to use a property of beta function, and before that you should know the definition of beta function. Do you know what is the definition of beta function? If you don't know, then after using this property, I will show you the definition of beta function. Okay. So here there is a property of beta function, which is this: using 0 to pi by 2 sine to the power 2m minus 1 theta cos to the power 2n minus 1 theta into d theta is equals to half of beta m comma n. Okay, that's a property of beta function. 0 to pi by 2 sine to the power 2m minus theta cos to the power 2n minus theta d theta is equals to half of beta m comma n. And your beta function beta m comma n is defined as, okay, I explained the beta function in the above part. Sorry. Here it will be 0 to pi by 2, 1 by 2 root over s, sine to the power 2 into 1 by 4 minus 1. Okay. So at first I will use these properties, and after that I will show you the definition of beta function. So it is 0 to pi by 2, 0 to pi by 2, sine to the power 2 into 1 by 4 minus 1 theta, sine to the power 2m minus 1 into theta. So comparing this term, we get that m is equals to 1 by 4 and n is equals to 3 by 4. So the result will be half of beta m comma n. So we may write down half of beta m comma n. Here m is 1 by 4 comma n is what? N is 3 by 4. N is 3 by 4. Okay. Now you should know the definition of beta function. Basically, you know, as far as I can remember, I told you the definition of gamma function. Now the definition for beta function is equals to 0 to 1 x to the power m minus 1 into 1 minus x to the power n minus 1 into dx. That's the where m and n are greater than 0. That's the definition of beta function. Okay, that's the definition of beta function, and it's a property of beta function. And there is a relation between beta and gamma function, that is beta m comma n is equals to gamma m gamma n divided by gamma m plus n. Okay. I think you have learned these properties or the proof of these properties in your integral calculus. But for this course here, these properties proof are not necessary. We need just the statement that this is the definition of beta function, and it's a property of beta function, that is beta m comma n is equals to gamma m divided by gamma m plus n. Sorry, 2 gamma m plus n. Okay, is equals to gamma n divided by 2 gamma m plus n, and it is also known as the relation between gamma and beta function. This is also known as relation between gamma and beta function. Do you know what is gamma function? Gamma function is defined as gamma n is equals to 0 to infinity e to the power minus x to the power n minus 1 into dx. That's the definition for gamma function. 0 to infinity e to the power minus x to the power n minus 1 into dx. That's the definition for gamma function. This is the definition for beta function. It's a properties, this is the relation between gamma and beta function. Okay. So now I will use this relation, gamma and beta function, the relation between gamma and beta function. Here it is beta m comma n. So half into beta m comma n is equals to gamma n divided by 2 into gamma m plus n. So m is equals to 1 by 4, n is equals to 3 by 4, m is equals to 1 by 4 plus 3 by 4. Okay, so it can be written as 2 into 2, that means 1 by 4. Here, there is another term 2 root over s, right? Here I missed one term, that is probably 1 by 2 root over s. 1 by 2 root over s. Yes, I think I missed this term, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I think I have missed this term. So it will be 1 by 2 root over s into like this. Okay, let me check. Wait, yes, I have to check.
ম্যাম বিটার আগে হাফটা ছিল না, এই হাফটা আর কি এক্সট্রা।
Okay, so it will be something like this here. Okay, now I think it's okay. Okay, so this is the half beta m comma n is equals to gamma n divided by gamma m plus n. So it can be written as 4 root over s into
ম্যাম
gamma.
হাফটা কোথা থেকে আসলো?
This half is from here.
না না, ওই জায়গায় হাফটা আসলো কোথা থেকে? ফার্স্ট লাইনে
1 by 2 root over s.
না ম্যাম, ডানে, রাইট, 1 by 2 root over s, দেন বিটার আগে যে হাফ উপরে ফার্স্ট লাইনে।
This is
হ্যাঁ, ইয়েস ম্যাম।
okay. Basically, your formula is 0 to pi by 2 sine to the power 2m minus 1 theta cos to the power 2n minus 1 theta into d theta is equals to half of beta m comma n. That's the properties. Half of beta m comma n, and here beta m comma n is equals to gamma n divided by gamma m plus n.
Okay, ma'am. Yes.
So from here it will be gamma m into gamma n, that is 3 by 4 divided by gamma m plus n, and here I think it is 4 by 4, that means 1, so it will be gamma 1, right? It will be gamma 1. So we have found that 1 by 4 root over s, gamma 1 by 4, and here 3 by 4. 1 minus 1 by 4 is equals to what? 3 by 4, right? 1 minus 1 by 4 is equals to 3 by 4. So I will replace 3 by 4 by 1 minus 1 by 4. 2 root over s, here gamma 1 by 4, and this will be replaced by 1 minus 1 by 4 gamma 1. And here there is another property. Here there is another property of gamma function. you have to use the property of gamma function, that is, we know gamma p into 1 minus p is equals to pi by sine p pi. Okay. There is another property of gamma function, that is gamma p into gamma 1 minus p is equals to pi by sine p pi. Now I will try to make a comparison between this term and with this property. It is, if you consider that your p is 1 by 4, if you consider your p is 1 by 4, then it will be gamma p, that means gamma 1 by 4, 1 minus p, that means gamma 1 minus 1 by 4. So for this term 1 by 4 gamma into gamma 1 minus 1 by 4, I will consider this is gamma p and this is gamma 1 minus p, and it will be equal to pi by sine px. Okay. So from here we can write down 1 by 4 root over s is equals to, it will be pi by sine p into pi, and here p is 1 by 4, so it will be 1 by 4 into pi. Okay. Is it clear? And you know that the values for gamma 1 is equals to is always 1. So we can write down pi by sine pi by 4. So it will be pi divided by 4 root over s into sine pi by 4. So 1 by 4 root over s into, what is the result for sine pi by 4? I think all of you know, right? It is sine 45 degree, and the standard values for sine 45 degree is equals to 1 by root over 2. So it will be 1 by root over 2, and I can write down it is as root over 2 by 4 root over s into pi. Is it?
Yes, ma'am.
So it can be written as pi root over 2 divided by 4 root over s, and this is your Laplace transformation of z of t. This is your Laplace transformation of z of t. So I may write down Laplace transformation of z of t is equals to what? Is equals to pi root over t, sorry, pi into root over 2 divided by 4 root over s. So here z of t will be inverse Laplace transformation of pi into root over 2 by 4 root over s. Now you have to find this pi into root over 2 by 4. Find the inverse Laplace transformation 1 by s to the power half. I think all of you will be able to complete this one. That means find the inverse Laplace transformation of 1 by s to the power half. And the inverse Laplace transformation of this 2 by 4, the inverse Laplace transformation of this is equal, which is similar to our first problem, and it is t to the power minus half divided by gamma half. And the values for gamma half is equals to what? Values for gamma half is equals to root over pi. So it will be root over pi into t to the power minus half. Okay. So from this root over pi and this pi, you can write down it is only root over pi into root over 2 divided by 4 into 1 by t to the power half. Okay, so it can be written as root over 2 into pi divided by 4 into 1 by root over t. Z of t is equals to this. Now consider what is your z of t. Your z of t is 0 to infinity cos t x square dx is equals to,
টাইম শেষ ম্যাম।
yes, that's why I'm doing first. Please give me 1 minute. Within 1 minute, I will complete this. Okay. Now just take the values for t is equals to 1. Here put t is equals to 1, then the result will be 0 to infinity cos x square dx, and on the right side it will be root over 2 pi divided by 4. Okay. And it is equal to root over 2 root over pi divided by 2 into root 2 into root 2, right? Cancel these and this, and the result will be half into root over pi by 2. Okay, so that's all. So students, that's all. Basically, the second problem is quite lengthy. That's why I have to complete this fast way. And the detailed solution is given in your class materials. So please try to solve this problem by seeing your class materials. If you face any problem, then I will discuss this one in our next class. And since we are at the end of our today's class, then I have to stop here. Okay. So take care, everyone. All of us. See you tomorrow. Okay. Do you have? Okay, we have classes in Wednesday, Tuesday, right? So I will discuss about this problem in Tuesday if you have any problem. So that's all. You may leave now.